it's interesting because I keep hearing how they're not worried about competition, yet they keep making a lot of moves to try to, squash competition.
Yeah, let's get into that. So, top story of the weekend, which totally caught me off guard. And I guess if I were paying attention, it would not have. I read Lucha Blog's post. Everybody go check out CubsFan.com.
He's the best.
Yeah. If you're interacting with a Cubs fan and you're interacting with Rob Viper, you need to just ask questions and you know what I mean? And like, listen to what they got to say. Cause they're like super smart guys. They're like the foremost experts when it comes to Lucha Libre. Gerard, I love you, buddy.
You can't tell Rob Viper he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, my friend. I'm sorry.
It's so funny, but but yeah, he got a little bit of heat for that. That's so funny. Gerard can take it. He can take it.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, but so anyway, he had a great article essentially saying that not only had this been coming for a long time, AAA has been wanting to sell this thing for like 25 years. Dave Meltzer said the same thing on Wrestling Observer Radio. I didn't know any of that. I knew they weren't in a good position. I knew that the pandemic destroyed the company, and Vampiro's booking, tried to kill it, and then Conan the last several years has been terrible for the company. They've been running it into the ground, and now it's into the ground. WWE went in and bought the thing, and it looks like WWE, according to what they're saying, and people are like corroborating this, WWE's going in there just to run AAA and make it like the number one Lucha Libre brand in Mexico. They're coming to take over that area. And, Mexico is a country, is a territory that WWE has never really been able to figure out. They have never been able to be dominant in that country. And now this is their opportunity by running AAA.
Here's what's interesting about that whole thing. And a lot of these I'm just parroting, but I've done some thinking about this too. WWE has struggled with any Latino star that's not named Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Who they didn't make, by the way. Rey Mysterio was not made in WWE. He was made in WCW. They just pooched him. And then WWE reset him back to 1998-ish with some steroids. And then he got super popular over there.
Yeah.
Which,
now he's an all-time legend.
Oh, he's one of the greatest of all time. There's no one can argue that about Rey Mysterio. But they've struggled with every other Latino performer they've ever had. Every single one. So the fact, and that's interesting, is they don't get the market. They've proven that time and again. And when Triple H in his Triple H, Paul Levesque, in his press conference talked about how they're going to keep a AAA as is, and they're going to let it be traditional Lucha Libre. AAA has never been traditional Lucha Libre. AAA was founded on the idea that what EMLL, not CMLL yet, was broken and needed to be fixed. So you look at the original AAA, when it was Eddie Guerrero, Conan, Rey Mysterio, when worlds collide, like it was like modern Lucha Libres was what they were selling us, not the traditional stuff that went on in Arena Mexico. Now it's garbage matches and some high spots. It's
Pagano doing death matches with skewers in his head.
Correct. The stuff that they bitch about John Moxley, that those same people bitch about John Moxley about, and the pizza grater from Nick Gage. Now you've got AAA. Now you get to see what they're doing with Pagano and Psycho Clown. And like, that's a garbage wrestling promotion that also happens to feature Vikingo and Laredo Kid. And there's it's funny because a lot of the Mexican talent that works for WWE was not really happy with AAA the last few years of their career. Yeah. Lucha Brothers included in that.
Yeah, well, I get the feeling they're going to be happy with it now that WWE is running it. And I think I don't think it's any coincidence that WWE has been really signing up a lot of Lucha Libre talent, right? And actually have done a pretty good job of featuring them. I know they've had some start and stop pushes with Dragon Lee. He had to go away for a little bit. I think he was on paternity leave or something like that. So, but I think a lot of those people are now going to go back to AAA and kind of be a part of their show because WWE is going to want to go into Mexico and become the number one. So how do they do that? They're gonna like feature Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, the Lucha Brothers, and El Hijo del Fantasma, and all these cats that were pretty popular in AAA at one point in time. And then they're also gonna go in and outbid CMLL, most of which are probably not on ironclad contracts, and they're very likely not making a ton of money. And so WWE is gonna go in there, throw the money around, and probably take a lot of their top talent too, and then ultimately like reset the scene over there.
Now here's where I don't know if that holds up. It's literally because of who's running AAA. The people who've ran AAA, they do draw for their Triple Mania shows, but those are, it's not like it was a healthy it's not like it's been a healthy company for a long time.
No.
So, but then the series it is, who runs AAA, right? Is it going to be the people currently doing it, or are you going to have WWE doing it? And WWE has proven that they don't understand the marketplace.
Correct.
Right. And they're going to invest a lot of money into something that's not going to come money back, and that's not going to bring them a bunch of money back. Because I mean, like, wrestling's a cheap night out in Mexico. Yeah. Right.
If their plan is to keep Conan in place, which that seems like that would be the case, because Rey Mysterio is so close to Conan. Conan's running that place into the ground. Like, he is creatively bankrupt.
Oh yeah,
AAA is the worst television show I've ever seen in my life.
It's awful. I have not watched AAA shows since Kenny Omega was doing stuff with them. It's terrible. It's a terrible product. Like, and again, WWE is going to come down there. It's going to make it look better. But here's the thing, those people who they're talking about traditional Lucha Libre. Traditional Lucha Libre is CMLL. AAA fans are a completely different breed. Like what this is going to now, here's the thing, is now we've created these. I firmly believe that this was done again to squash competition, because WWE wants to be not only the market leader, they want to be the market definer.
Yeah.
So now they're going to start buying up to. I would not be surprised if they buy Noah from Abima and start doing the same thing.
Okay, Kevin Kelly floated out there, New Japan, and several other people kind of latching onto that about maybe New Japan gets bought, or that partnership switches over. WWE makes an investment into New Japan, and then they become partners.
I mean, I guess anything is possible.
You know what? It sounds ridiculous, but at this point, I wouldn't rule anything out, to be honest with you. New Japan's fucking poor.
New Japan is poor, but this is okay. Now you got the case. Now we're leveraging billionaires and billionaire companies against each other. So if I'm Tony Khan, I don't know if that's going to happen, because I do think there are financial ties between the Khan family and New Japan at this point. Like, I do.
Do you think the Khan family owns a piece of New Japan, or is it just like they have a contract?
I don't know.
Or they do a certain amount of shows and then New Japan gets money.
I think they do a certain amount of shows. New Japan gets money from it. I think there are more formal ties, because there are talents that have dual contracts. Right. Correct. There are multiple talents that have dual contracts. There are announcers who have dual contracts. I'm firmly of the mind that there is stronger business ties than we particularly know of. And I'm also of the mind that if WWE came sniffing around Bushi Road, that the word would get back to Tony, and Tony would buy it before they had a chance.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I don't think Tony would probably try to move heaven and earth to prevent New Japan from selling to WWE.
As well, he should. We do not need, and this is what bothers me, is all these wrestling fans that want WWE to own all of wrestling, and I don't understand that. I don't understand the necessity for having one game of talent, because what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. We saw what happened with NXT UK, right? It wasn't a traditional UK show. It was a WWE show done with UK talent. That's what's going to happen in Mexico, because Conan's going to fuck it up, because Conan stinks. And I'm going to get a DM. And like, what's going to happen is they're going to bring in their own people who think they understand traditional Lucha Libre. They're going to say, well, we'll just hire some, Mexican guys to go run it, but no one who has any proven track record creatively. So I don't think this is a slam dunk idea.
I'm very curious to see how this plays out and how this works. This is WWE's attempt at globalization. Mm-hmm. I think you're onto something. I think Noah would probably be more likely. I don't think Cyber Agent, like, I know Noah is like one of their bigger properties. I think Cyber Agent would give it up.
Cyber Agent sold them a long time ago. Yeah, it's Abima. They have a good. WWE has a relationship with Abima already.
Yeah,
right. They already have, like, Inamura and guys like that have been working Noah and WWE. They've had almost going back and forth. No, here's the thing too. We don't talk about this. Everyone thinks New Japan is the market leader, right? Who is the market leader in Mexico? It's not AAA. It's CMLL. Yeah. They bought AAA. Who is the market leader in Japan? It's New Japan. But New Japan is being outdrawn in 2025 by Noah in Korakuen Hall. Not anywhere else, but in Korakuen Hall, which is like the hub of wrestling in the city of Tokyo. Thank you, Joe Lanza. Like Abima Noah, I should say, is outdrawing them. So Noah is the guys they want to get in on, right? Quite frankly, Noah's the one who's booking their younger talent better than New Japan is right now. Team 2000X is the hottest thing going in Japan currently. So I mean, it
New
makes
Japan's
far more
New
sense.
Japan's kind of a mess right now.
Oh, it's absolutely a mess right now.
Yeah.
But I do think Tanahashi has some ideas. They are in a leadership change. Things are honestly moving in a better spot. With Goto as champion, they're drawing better than they have with anything in years since the pandemic. That's reality. Now, what's nice about this is, and I don't like the idea of two billionaires fighting each other, but it kind of brings us back to the 90s, I guess. So, I mean, like, so now we have these alliances. It's funny, you have these alliances set with WWE and AAA and Noah on the one side, with AEW, CMLL, and New Japan on the other. And it would not surprise me to see Tony Khan get heavily invested in CMLL financially as well, right? CML struggled, like CML has had some bad years, but they've drawn very well the last few years. You know, specifically
CMLL,
with the Mexico.
They're hot right now.
They are hot right now. Like WWE did not buy the hot property in Mexico. They didn't. Like, and it's funny too, because the hub of CMLL is Mexico City, right? Which is in the south side, like the southern, more centrally located in Mexico. Whereas AAA tends to draw in the northern part of the country. So, I mean, like, if they think they're going to bring that AAA name to the different parts of the country, it's not going to be what they think it is. And this is, again, WWE not quite understanding the marketplace. But
if they infuse some money into the AAA name,
which
they stick Rey Mysterio Jr. and the Lucha Brothers and Dragon Lee on those shows, and they steal some talent from CMLL, we might be having a different conversation. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know who's going to book the show. I don't know who's going to promote the show. The people they have in there right now can't stay because they have ran it into the fucking ground.
I agree.
And it's not a financial reason why it's been ran into the ground. It's been ran into the ground because they just have bad ideas, right?
Right. I just don't think that they understand that, because WWE has struggled. They haven't struggled nearly as much in Japan as they have in Mexico, right? American style wrestling can work in Mexico. Look at New Japan. New Japan's American style booking right now.
Yeah, I saw WWE back in the day at the Budokan Hall, and there was a lot of people there.
That's what I'm saying. WWE can draw in they can't draw in Japan all the time, but they can draw in Japan. They can't draw in Mexico that well.
Yeah.
But so that's my thought is, are they going to be able to infuse that WWE brand into Mexico while CMLL is still strong? I don't have an answer for that. That's the question that everyone's going to ask. And this is, but I'm not bemoaning this. I don't think it's a great thing for Mexican wrestling, but I think it's a great thing for AAA because it's been a ghost promotion for a while. So I think competition is good.
Yeah, that family's been trying to get out of the AAA business for a long time, and they finally found a sucker. I mean, a company willing to come in and take it over. So we'll see how it plays out. We're going to continue to monitor it. Who knows? Maybe in a couple of months, we'll whenever we come back from hiatus, we'll have more information. But they are doing a Worlds Collide pay-per-view. It's going to be right before Money in the Bank in LA at the Forum. It's going to be, what's that?
Who is the Worlds Collide from the show with?
It says WWE, AAA, and NXT, so probably stars from all three brands.
So it's interesting to me. Let's bring Cousin Joe on, because I want to. This relates to my WrestleMania thinking.
All right. If you guys watched last night, Cousin Joe and we were on YouTube last night. Randomly, we were texting during Mania, and we were having this conversation. And my wife and kids were gone. They went to go do a Mother's Day photo shoot, and I guess dads weren't allowed. And I was like, oh darn. Oh darn, I have the house to myself. So me and Joe, me and Joe, I just like talking to my cousin. So we're like, fuck it, we might as well monetize it and I put it on YouTube. But Cousin Joe, Fed Pill Joe himself, he is back on the show for Mania Night 2. Joe, are you there?
I am here, and I got to give JD shit just a little bit, because he said Rey Mysterio was the only Latino star WWE's ever done well with. And then later mentioned Eddie Guerrero, but didn't mention how WWE did a good job with Eddie Guerrero. Guerrero was a huge star for him. Not as long, but he was a huge star.
Since Eddie Guerrero has been dead for 20 years.
Yeah.
Did you say they haven't done good with anyone since?
I have to put parameters on since. Yes, Rey Mysterio came after Eddie Guerrero died, dude.
No. I thought you had said only they only did well with Rey Mysterio. I didn't know it was since Rey Mysterio.
I would add Eddie Guerrero to that. They did a really good job with Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
It didn't draw above what they were having at the time, but still, I thought Eddie was a great champion, but he didn't last long because he was having some issues.
Let's talk reality here. We all love Eddie Guerrero because he was a great performer. Eddie Guerrero didn't draw as champion, which is why they took the belt off of him. So we can say Eddie Guerrero was his big star because he made a lot of great moments, made a lot of great TV. Eddie Guerrero didn't draw as champion, which is why they took the belt off of him. Eddie Guerrero, by his own admission, was a failure as champion.
Yeah. But during that time, WWE as a whole wasn't drawing very well.
No, but we don't blame Vince and Triple H. We only blame the people who aren't Vince and Triple H for those things.
But they did do well with Eddie Guerrero. They pushed him very well. They strapped a rocket to Alberto, but that guy just couldn't get out of his own fucking way. Yeah. And as was broke tonight, should I hit the? Actually, you know what? We're going to be on hiatus soon. We haven't hit the button in a while, and plus, I think we got to hit the button because Joe's on. Because his brother is the one that does the audio for this. So his brother Rocky is the one that actually, his voice is on this. So I'm going to hit the button.
Breaking news.
Your cousin's name is Rocky Gilbert? That's a cool name, man.
He's Rocky Gilbert 2, and his son is RG3, Rocky Gilbert the 3rd.
That's an awesome name. I love that.
Yeah.
Steal that
but Rob Viper was like in my comments and in King of the North comments because King of the North talking shit as usual about TNA, and Rob Viper broke the news that WWE and Alberto are back in business together. By the way, I think Alberto is the AAA Mega Champion, and that is not changing as of right now. It looks like WWE is going to keep him on board with AAA.
Woof. Yikes. That's not great.
Yeah. I mean, he was like, I don't know if the word like found innocent it would be the case. I think the charges were dropped on his whole kidnapping and assault case that he had going on there for a while. But that even without that case, like that guy was a complete mess. Domestic violence. He got coked up and beat up a Ninja Turtle, which honestly, I don't have anything against him for that. Like that's just being a dude. I get that part. But the other stuff I don't really like about Alberto. But look, if you want to do coke and beat up Ninja Turtles, I you know what, I'm okay with that.
I don't even know how to react to that.
You remember that story?
I forgot about it.
Like there was a guy in Mexico who dressed up as a Ninja Turtle and tried to come at Alberto one night in the club, and Alberto beat his ass. Yeah.
Oh jeez. I mean, he's a character in professional wrestling. Is Alberto a draw in Mexico? I look at those AAA things. And I don't think
AAA.
So.
If he were, then AAA wouldn't be selling right now. The AAA is on its ass. So, but he's somebody that they recognize, right?
That's so Vince. That's such a Vince thing to do. Is like, well, this is this guy. We'll book. That's like it's like booking Mil Mascaras in 1997 to come in and do your show. Like it's fucking wild to me, man.
And they brought in Connect into the Royal Rumble, and 13 years after he had been like super popular. But yeah, no, it makes sense they would book Alberto. Look, when they made the AAA announcement, the only AAA wrestler that was in as a part of the announcement was Vikingo. Because they're going to be doing something with him. He was actually featured at WrestleMania last night. He got involved in the Chad Gable match, but
I think he's fucking awesome. It was great. Good. I mean, that's who I think really kind of wins on this whole thing is Vikingo because he had that AAA contract for a long time, and he's been showcased in the US from both AEW and GCW, and good for him. That makes me happy actually.
All right, you had something for Joe. You had a question for Joe until he got on your case about Eddie Guerrero.
I completely forgot what it was.
We were talking Worlds Collide.
Worlds Collide. Who's going to be on Worlds Collide? Joe, what do you think?
I think Vikingo and something with Chad Gable, El Grande Americano, like they very clearly set that up. I could feel JD saying, "What the hell?" Like, what the hell?
That's JD's boy, by the way. That's JD's boy.
He's very happy in the role.
He
loves doing it.
Yeah, and he's very talented.
Oh, he's immensely talented.
Very, very talented. And you'll see, obviously, the Lucha Brothers, Dragon Lee, I would imagine, is going to get on there. I'm kind of hoping for a heel turn from Dragon Lee somewhere, just to give him some bit of character. Because he's had a lot come up that's really kept him off TV. They gave him a lot of time off for paternity leave, which I think is awesome. Good for him. They fired guys for that in the past. So like I'm really happy they were able to do that for him, and he seems happy there. But he is so damn good that I want him to have something that the fans will connect with. So I'm hoping for a heel turn just to give him something different, get him out of the LWO vortex. But
Yeah.
aside from that, like I really don't. When they announced the Worlds Collide show, I was like, all right, well, Vikingo and somebody, and then they did the segment with Gable. I was like, all right, cool, that could be a match. And I don't know what else. I would like to see Noah brought into it somehow, but I don't think they will.
It's going to be
they're not part of the advertising. So it's
Yeah.
WWE, it's NXT, and it's
And
AAA.
it's going to be NXT and AAA guys with those guys. Assuming those guys you mentioned
with the main roster of luchadors.
yeah.
Yes, probably some of them. So here's my thought: is immediately we're defining it because NXT is by admission third brand.
Yeah.
So we're immediately saying AAA is on the level of the third brand, same as they've done with TNA, making sure that everybody knows that TNA is beneath WWE.